They say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But what do you do when your best friend is your worst enemy? Today we are looking at 3 insane stories where the people we trusted the most turned into our worst nightmares. From a best friend who literally stole a man's identity, to a roommate who was secretly live streaming her friend's private life for money. You won't believe the audacity of the person in our final story. Trust me, after watching this, you'll want to double-check who has the keys to your house. Let's get into it. I thought Leo was my brother. We met in kindergarten, shared every secret, and I even let him live in my house for free when he lost his job. But I didn't know that while I was sleeping in the next room, he was systematically destroying my future. He didn't just steal my money. He stole my identity. Hikaye gövdesi. It all started about 6 months ago. I've always been responsible with my finances. I worked 2 jobs in college to keep my credit score. Perfect because my dream was to buy a small house by the lake. Leo, on the other hand, was always unlucky. He'd lose his wallet, get scammed in crypto, or just forget to pay his bills. Being his best friend, I always stepped in. I paid for his meals, covered his half of the utilities, and never asked for the money back. One Tuesday morning, I went to a local dealership because I finally had enough for a down payment on a car. I was excited. The salesman took my info, ran a credit check, and came back with a look of pure confusion. He told me, "Sir, I don't know how to tell you this, but you have over $50,000 in active debt, and 3 of your accounts are in collections." I laughed. I thought it was a mistake. I haven't owned a credit card in 3 years, but when he showed me the report, my heart dropped. There were loans from banks I'd never heard of, high-interest credit cards maxed out at luxury retail stores, and even a gym membership in another state. I went home shaking. I spent the next 48 hours on the phone with fraud departments. That's when I heard the most chilling sentence from a bank representative. "But sir, the person who opened this account provided your original birth certificate and a utility bill as proof of address." My birth certificate was in a safe box in my closet. Only 2 people had the code, me and Leo, in case of an emergency. I waited for Leo to come home that night. He walked in with a brand new PlayStation 5 and expensive takeout. I didn't even say hello. I just showed him the credit report. For a split second, I saw pure terror in his eyes, but then it vanished. He sat down, opened his soda, and said, "Look, I was going to pay it back. I just needed a win, man. You have a stable job, you're fine. I'm the one struggling." I was speechless. He had been stealing my mail for months, intercepting the credit cards before I could see them. He used my identity to fund a lifestyle he couldn't afford while I was working. Over time to save for a house. He literally traded my future for designer clothes and video games. When I told him I was going to the police, he actually got angry. He started screaming that I was choosing money over friendship, and that brothers don't snitch. His mother even called me crying, saying that if I reported the fraud, Leo would go to prison and it would be all my fault. I had a choice: protect the person who stabbed me in the back or save my own life. I chose myself. I handed over every piece of evidence to the fraud unit. It turns out Leo had been doing this to his ex-girlfriend too, but she never caught him. Now, Leo is facing multiple felony charges for identity theft and wire fraud. My friend group has split in half. Half of them say I'm a hero for standing up for myself, and the other half says I'm a cold-hearted snitch for putting my best friend in a cell. So I'm asking you, Reddit, am I the jerk for reporting my best friend to the police? Or did he stop being my friend the moment he decided to steal my life? I helped my best friend get a job at my company because she was about to be homeless. 6 months later, she stole my promotion, lied to my boss, and almost got me fired. I thought I was being a savior, but I was actually inviting a snake into my nest. Have been working for a high-end marketing firm for 3 years. I worked my tail off, staying late every night and hitting every target. My best friend, Maya, was struggling. She couldn't keep a job and was weeks away from losing her apartment. I begged my manager to give her an entry-level position. I even spent my weekends training her so she wouldn't look clueless on her first day. For the first few months, everything was great. But then a senior manager position opened up. It was the role I had been dreaming of. and everyone in the office knew I was the frontrunner. Maya started acting weird. She began asking for copies of my old projects, just to learn, she said. Being a good friend, I shared my files with her. The week of the final interviews, my boss called me into his office. He looked disappointed. He showed me a presentation that Maya had submitted for the promotion. It was my work, my data, my slogans, and my strategy. But she had tweaked the dates to make it look like she created them months before me. I was in shock. I told him, "This is my work." I shared it with her to help her learn. My boss looked me in the eye and said, "That's not what Maya says. She claims you've been stealing her ideas for months because you were desperate for the promotion. She had even forged emails to make it look like I was asking her for help." I left the office that day feeling like my world was collapsing. My best friend wasn't just stealing a job. She was trying to destroy my reputation. But Maya forgot one thing. I am the one who set up our shared server. I spent the entire night going through the digital footprints. I found the exact timestamps of when she accessed my private folders. I also found a chat log on her work computer, which she forgot to log, out of where she was, bragging to her boyfriend about how easy it was to manipulate me and how she was going to use my promotion money to go on a vacation. The next morning, the board was meeting to announce the promotion. I walked in with a USB drive. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I simply asked for 5 minutes of their time. I showed them the server logs. I showed them the chat where she admitted to the fraud. The room went silent. Maya started crying, saying I hacked her and that I was jealous of her talent. But the data didn't lie. She was fired on the spot and escorted out by security. Now Maya's family is blowing up my phone, saying I'm evil for making her homeless and unemployed right before the holidays. They say a true friend would have handled it privately instead of humiliating her in front of the whole board. My boss gave me the promotion, but I feel like I lost a part of myself. The breaking point was last Friday. I was getting ready for a date, and I couldn't find my favorite necklace. I looked everywhere. When Amy came home, she immediately walked to a bookshelf, reached behind a stack of old books and pulled it out. "It must have fallen, silly," she said with a weird smile. But that bookshelf was in a corner of my room I hadn't touched in weeks. The next day, while Amy was at work, I decided to do a deep clean of my room. That's when I saw it, a tiny pin-sized hole in the smoke detector directly above my bed. My heart stopped. I got a chair, took the detector down, and found a micro camera inside. It was wired into the apartment's electricity. I went into a frenzy. I searched the whole place. I found another camera in the bathroom hidden inside a fake air freshener, and a high-quality microphone taped behind the couch in the living room. But here's the most disgusting part. I found her laptop open in the kitchen. She wasn't just watching me for herself. She was part of a roommate watch group on a private forum. She was live streaming my daily life, my private conversations, and even my sleep to hundreds of strangers for subscription fees. She was literally making a profit off my privacy. I didn't wait for her to come home. I packed my most important things, took all the cameras and microphones as evidence, and went straight to a hotel. I called the police and filed a report for illegal surveillance, an invasion of privacy. When Amy found out, she didn't even act guilty. She sent me a long text saying I was selfish for ruining her income stream and that she only did it because rent was expensive. She actually argued that since I was living there anyway, I shouldn't care if people were watching. Now her friends are calling me a drama queen and saying I should have just asked her to take them down instead of involving the law. They say I've ruined her chance at a future career because of a little mistake. I spent 5 days working as an unpaid servant at my billionaire best friend's wedding in Italy. I designed her invites, fixed her dress, and managed her catering. I thought I was being a good friend because she told me everything was handled. I didn't realize that handled meant she was going to charge me $10,000 for the nightmare she put me through. I, 26F, have been best friends with Chloe, 26F, since high school. Chloe's family owns a global real estate empire. I, on the other hand, am a freelance graphic designer living in a studio apartment. When Chloe got engaged to her equally wealthy fiancé, She asked me to be her maid of honor. I was terrified. I told her straight up, "Chloe, I love you, but I can't afford a destination wedding. I'm struggling to pay rent this month." Chloe grabbed my hands, looked me in the eyes, and said, "Stop, you are my sister. I've handled everything. The flights, the villa, the food. It's all a gift to you because I can't imagine my big day without you." I cried, hugged her, and spent the next 6 months doing everything for her. Since I'm a designer, I created her custom wedding brand, hand-illustrated 200 invitations, and spent over 100 hours on her wedding website. I didn't charge her a cent because I thought we were family. Fast forward to the wedding in Lake Como, Italy. From the second I landed, it was a nightmare. The professional wedding planner had a breakdown, and Chloe looked at me and said, "You're creative. You handle the catering staff and the floral arrangements." For 5 days, I didn't see the pool. I didn't drink champagne. I was up at 5 a.m. managing angry Italian florists and stayed up until 2 a.m. fixing the seating charts. On the morning of the wedding, the zipper on her $20,000 gown snapped. I spent 3 hours hand-sewing her into that dress. I missed the pre-wedding brunch entirely. On the final night at the farewell dinner, Chloe stood up to give a speech. She thanked her parents, her new husband, and then she handed out small, elegant envelopes to all the bridesmaids. I thought it was a heartfelt thank you note. I opened mine and my blood ran cold. It was a professional invoice. Total amount due, $10,250. It was itemized, share of villa, 5,000 business class flight, $3,500, 5-star. Catering, $117.50. At the bottom, there was a note, discount applied for graphic design services. I was shaking. I waited until we were alone and asked her, "What is this?" "You said it was a gift." Chloe's entire face changed. She looked at me with this cold, robotic stare and said, "I said I handled the booking so you wouldn't have to worry about the logistics. I never said I was paying for your entire life. Do you have any idea how expensive this wedding was? Don't be a gold digger, it's a bad look on you." I spent the night crying in the bathroom of a $5,000 villa I couldn't afford. But then the anger kicked in. Chloe had been nagging me for weeks to finish the high-res versions of her wedding branding and the highlight reel video I had been filming on my professional camera. The next morning, I checked out of the villa before anyone was awake. I moved to a $20 a night hostel in the city. I opened my laptop and sent her a formal invoice of my own. I charged her my full corporate rate for 100 hours of design work, a 24/7 event management fee for 5 days, and an emergency tailoring fee for the dress. Total $11,500. I sent it with a short message. "Since our relationship is now strictly financial, here is my bill. After subtracting your invoice from mine, you owe me $1,250. I have password protected all your wedding files in the wedding website. I will release the password once my bank account reflects the balance. Have a nice honeymoon." She went insane. She called me 40 times. She told our mutual friends that I was holding her memories hostage and that I was ruining her happiness. Some of our friends are actually taking her side, saying she's rich and doesn't understand how money works for normal people, and that I should just apologize to keep the peace. But I'm done. I worked as her servant for a week, and she tried to charge me for it. Am I the jerk for charging my billionaire best friend for my professional services after she tried to scam me? Honestly, after hearing these 4 stories, I'm going to have a serious talk with my own friends tonight. Which one of these was the most insane to you? Was it the identity thief, the office snake, the spy roommate, or the billionaire bride? Let me know in the comments who you think was the biggest jerk. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily Reddit drama. I read every single comment, so I'll see you down there. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.